the lie I believed for years. For most of my trading life, I believed the same lie every struggling trader believes. If I could just make more money, everything would finally make sense. I thought profits would bring clarity. I thought profits would bring confidence. I thought profits would quiet the noise in my head. So I chased them. I chased them in the early hours of the morning, staring at charts with tired eyes. I chased them after losses, convinced the next trade would fix everything. I chased them even on days when my body was telling me to stop. And the strange thing is, I did make money sometimes. Enough to believe I was close. Enough to believe I just needed to push a little harder. But the harder I chased profits, the further away consistency became. What I didn't know then was that the day I stopped chasing profits would be the day my trading finally began. The addiction no one talks about. No one warns you that trading can become an addiction, not to money, but to hope. Hope that this trade will be different. Hope that this setup will finally be the one. Hope that this win will erase the pain of the last loss. I wasn't addicted to trading. I was addicted to resolution. Every trade felt like a question mark hanging over my life. Am I good enough? Do I belong here? Can I actually do this? And profits felt like the answer. So I traded not when conditions were right, but when I needed relief. That's when I started noticing something uncomfortable. The trades I needed most were always the worst ones. When winning started to hurt. There was a period where I was doing well on paper. Green days, decent weeks, occasional big wins. But inside, something felt wrong. I couldn't enjoy the profits. I couldn't relax after closing trades. I couldn't stop thinking about the next opportunity. Winning didn't calm me. It agitated me. Because every win raised a new fear. What if I give it back? So I traded more protected. I traded faster. I traded worse. That's when I realized something unsettling. I wasn't trading to make money anymore. I was trading to avoid pain. When winning started to hurt. There was a period where I was doing well on paper. Green days, decent weeks, occasional big wins. But inside, something felt wrong. I couldn't enjoy the profits. I couldn't relax after closing trades. I couldn't stop thinking about the next opportunity. Winning didn't calm me. It agitated me. Because every win raised a new fear. What if I give it back? So I traded more protected. I traded faster. I traded worse. That's when I realized something unsettling. I wasn't trading to make money anymore. I was trading to avoid pain. The breaking point. The breaking point didn't come after a massive loss. It came after an average one. A normal losing day. Nothing dramatic. Nothing unusual. But I closed the platform and felt empty. No anger. No frustration. Just exhaustion. I had followed my rules. I had taken good setups. And I still felt miserable. That night, I didn't review charts. I didn't journal trades. I didn't plan the next session. I just sat there and asked myself a question I have been avoiding for years. What am I really trying to get from trading? The answer wasn't money. It was peace. The real cost of chasing profits. When you chase profits, you pay hidden costs. You pay with overtrading, impatience, self-doubt, emotional fatigue. But the biggest cost is clarity. Profit chasing distorts perception. You stop seeing the market as it is. You start seeing it as what you need it to be. Every chart becomes a negotiation. Every setup becomes a temptation. Every loss becomes personal. And once trading becomes personal, discipline disappears. I didn't need a better strategy. I needed a different objective. The decision that changed everything. The change didn't happen overnight. It began with a simple, uncomfortable decision. I would stop trying to make money from trading. That sounds insane to most people. But what I really meant was this. I stopped using profits as my measure of success. Instead, I chose 3 new goals. Survival, consistency, emotional stability. If I survived the day without emotional damage, it was a win. If I followed my rules, it was a win. If I closed the platform calm, it was a win. Money became secondary. And for the first time, I felt something unexpected. Relief. Trading became boring, and that was the point. When I stopped chasing profits, trading became boring. No adrenaline, no urgency, no constant scanning. At first, I thought something was wrong, but then I noticed I wasn't forcing trades. I wasn't watching every candle. I wasn't emotionally attached to outcomes. I traded less. I sized smaller. I waited more. And slowly, something strange happened. My results improved. Not dramatically, not explosively, quietly, steadily, sustainably. The shift from outcome to process. Before, every trade felt like a verdict. Now, every trade felt like a routine. I stopped asking, will this make money? And started asking, does this fit my process? Losses no longer felt like failures. Wins no longer felt like validation. They were just feedback. This is when I learned the most important lesson of my trading life. The market doesn't reward effort. It rewards alignment. Why most traders never reach this point? Most traders never stop chasing profits because they're under financial pressure. They're trying to prove something. They believe suffering is part of success. But suffering is not discipline. Stress is not focus. Overworking is not commitment. Chasing profits keeps traders trapped in a loop. Hope, action, pain, repeat. Breaking the loop requires letting go of the thing you want most. And that's terrifying. The day trading stopped controlling my life. The real transformation wasn't financial. It was psychological. I could walk away from the screen without regret. I could skip days without guilt. I could lose without spiraling. Trading stopped being my identity. It became a skill, not a self-worth test. And when trading stopped controlling my emotions, it stopped controlling my decisions. That's when consistency finally had room to grow. Profits came as a side effect. Ironically, profits came after I stopped chasing them. Not because I tried harder, but because I interfered less. I traded when conditions aligned. I stayed out when they didn't. I accepted boredom as a feature, not a flaw. The market didn't feel like an enemy anymore. It felt like an environment, and I learned how to survive in it. The quiet confidence of not needing the market. The biggest one wasn't financial freedom. It was psychological freedom. I no longer needed the market to validate me, rescue me, fix my life. Trading became something I did, not something I depended on. That shift alone was worth more than any single trade I had ever taken. A message to the trader I used to be. If I could speak to my younger trading self, I'd say this. Stop chasing profits. They run faster than you do. Build a process you can live with. Protect your mind. Trade small enough to stay sane. Long enough to learn. Calm enough to see clearly. Because the market doesn't reward desperation. It rewards patience disguised as boredom. The real beginning. The day I stopped chasing profits wasn't the end of ambition. It was the beginning of maturity. It was the day trading stopped being a fight and became a practice. And if you're tired, if trading feels heavy, if profits feel further away the harder you try, maybe it's not because you're doing too little. Maybe it's because you're chasing the wrong thing.